Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Didi, and if you're joining us for the first time, don't forget to like, share, comment and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first person to be notified once I drop a new video. So today I'll be teaching you all you need to know about data types in C, and what I mean is the classification, the modifiers, size of data type, signed and unsigned, how to calculate the minial range, that is how, like understanding the data type in C in terms of memory. Like the range 0 to 255, how they got the 0 to 255. I'm going to explain it all in this video. So if you want to understand all this I mentioned, please watch to the end of the video so you will be able to grab every knowledge that I drop. And also my last tutorial I taught the introduction of C. If you still have issues understanding what C and what C is all about, kindly click on the video that is on my description below so you can go watch the video so you'll be able to understand what I'm explaining in this video. So we're going to start now. Okay, so what's data type? Data type are the types of data stored in C program. Okay, for instance, here they gave an example. Int my variable. Int is a data type in C. I don't know if you guys, they are built-in data types. Do you understand? Okay, so we have different types of data type. We have the primitive or basic data type, which are the int, the char, the float, and etc. We have the user-defined data type, which are the arrays, the structures, and others. We have the derived data types, and that's the enumeration or enum, if I'm correct. Okay, now under the basic data type, as I said, I'm going to be taking it one after the other. We have the integer. We have the integer. Do you understand? Okay, now we use the integer when we want to store numbers 0 to 10. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, name it, 1, 0 to minus 0, 0, anything, numbers. That's when we use the integer. Okay, for instance, let me copy this code and print it so you guys will understand. Copy. Sorry, give me a minute. So I'm going to paste in now. So I'm going to run this code. You see what the integer value is 5. So if you want to print out integers or numbers, we use the int, int I equal to 5, int any number, any name you want to use. That we'll be talking about in the next video also. The next one is the character, which is the char. It's used to refer to all the ASI state characters. Okay, when we talk about the ASI character, I'm going to be showing you what I mean. So I'm going to go to Chrome and search for the SCII table, and I'm going to go ahead and click on an image. Okay, if you notice now, every symbol or letter has a decimal. Okay, 0 has 48 as its decimal. Character A has its decimal as 65. Character small letter A has its own as 97. Okay, so for instance, so for instance, let's use this code, and I run this code. Remember, we're using char. We're explaining char. You see what it showed me? The character value is 98. Okay, let's check for the character value of small letter B. As you can see, the character value of small letter B, check the decimal, is 98. So do you understand now? So it's more of, it shows the ASI value. But if I can use the specifier for char to run this code, it's going to give me, like if I want the character to show itself instead of the ASI code, I'll just use the specifier C, which I'm going to be explaining later. Okay, I'm going to be explaining because I know some people used to have issues with double and floats. No, I'm going to explain it now. Now, when we talk about double, I'm talking about something like this. I don't know if you guys can see my code. I'm talking about something like, wait, let me change this to black. Okay, 45.6, any number, 856 points. These are double. But if I write something like 4.56, this is a float. Do you understand? This is a float. This is a float. But this is a double. I hope you guys are able to detect the difference. Okay, so that's the difference between double and float. Okay, now having explained that, we're going to be talking about the data types modifiers in C. And when we talk about the data type modifiers in C, we're talking about the long, we're talking about the short, we're talking about the signed and the unsigned. Okay, now in long, we have the long int, short int, signed int, and unsigned int. Same with char, same with float, and same with double. Okay, here we talk about the signed. So I'm going to be explaining it in details here. Okay, now when we talk about the data type unsigned char, the specifier is C. Okay, now when I printed the code here and I use the specifier, which is %C, and I run my code, you notice that it showed me a character. I printed out a character instead, which is a B. I don't know if you guys understand. Okay, unlike other programming languages, you use the specifier to print out your main results, or the number you want to print out, or whatever you want to print out. You use the specifier. Okay, now the %C will run out the B, which is a char, right? Now if I change this to D, right, and run it, it's going to show me 98, right? Now if I use int C, and I print out D. You see, it worked. Okay, let me use float. Because each of them, okay, let's use, each of them has its own, code. And I write 14.56. No, this is double 4, 1.50. Is okay, let's check. It's F. So the specifier for float is F. And I write F. Sorry. And I run the code. Hallelujah. What's this? This is wrong somewhere. There's a mistake here that we need to correct. Oh, sorry. We are talking about float now, not an integer and not a character. 0.54. Do you guys notice what happened? Okay, the issue we had last time was because of I initialized this as a char because I use this here. If I put in this, they think that I'm initializing char, a character. Do you understand? But with this out, they already know, okay, she's talking about float or integer or anything that has to do with numbers. I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Okay, so that's it for char. Okay, that's the data. The format specifier is %C. The minimal range is 0 to 255, and the size is in bits. Now I'm going to explain this 0 to 255. Okay, so there is a formula for printing out the minimal range, and that is 2 raised to power n minus 1. 2 raised to power n is the size in bits of the data type you're working with, minus 1. Do you understand? Okay, so the size in bit of a character, of a unsigned character, is 8. So if we do 2 raised to power 8 minus 1, let's run it here. Sorry, let's run it here. 2 to power 8 is 256, right? Minus 1 will give us 255. Okay, so I'm going to explain what this means by unsigned and signed. Okay, I made an explanation here, so we should understand it here. Now, when we talk about sign or unsigned, when we talk about sign, we're talking about from the negative minimal range value to the positive minimal range value. Okay, like if you're talking about the minimal range 500, right? It's going to be in form of minus 500 to 500. If it's 600, you're talking about minus 600 to 600. Do you understand? But when we talk about unsigned, we're talking about positive integers, and that's from 0 to 500. If you're working with 600, 0 to 600. If you're working with decimal, which I doubt you do, 0 to the decimal. Do you understand? But if it's signed, we're talking about negative to positive within the valued range, minus 500 to 500. So let's see what I explained here. In C, the signed and unsigned keywords are used to specify the signedness of integer data types. Signedness determines whether a variable of a particular integer value can represent both positive and negative value, signed, or only negative value. Do you understand? That's why we notice when we talk about unsigned char here, we have 0 to 255. When we talk about sign, we have minus 127 to 127. Do you see the difference? Okay, so let's continue. So the next one we're going to talk about is char, which is the percent, which the format specifier is C. The minimal range is minus 127 to 127. So it has its own formula too, which is minus 2 raised to power brackets n minus 1 bracket cover minus 1 to minus 2 raised to power, sorry, to 2, no minus time around, raised to power brackets n minus 1 minus 1. Okay, so we are talking about char, right? Okay, let's calculate it. Don't forget I said n is the size in bits, and the size in bits of a signed char is minus 127 to 127. Okay, so let's get it. Minus 2 raised to the power brackets 8 minus 1, which is 7. Okay, minus 1 to 2 raised to power, sorry, 7 bracket 7 minus 1. Okay, that will give us 2 raised to power 7, 2 to power 7, 128, right? 128 minus 1 will give us 127, will give us minus 127, right? To 127. Okay, so in some cases you can see 128 to 127, meaning they did not minus this one. Do you understand? Sometimes you can see 128 to minus 128 to 128 means they did not do the minus. Do you get? But the correct sign is minus 127, so 127, which is this. You can go ahead and work for the other one. We have the one of integer. That means one of integer, the size in bit is 16, right? Okay, that's going to be 16 minus 1, that's 15. 2 raised to power 15 gives us 32,768 minus 1, 32,767. Are we correct? So if you do the same for all of it, you notice that it will give us the same value. I don't know if you guys understand. Okay, if we do the one of 32, let's do 31 instead of 32. You see the value minus 1, you see you have 37. Okay, so all you need to know first is the format. Do you understand? Once you know the format and the size in bits, okay, you already know that the size of unsigned chart is in bits is 8. Okay, so to understand why the size in bytes is 8, okay, let me calculate it for you guys. On enums we have bytes and bits. Okay, on the formula for bits is n times 8. Okay, on enums the value the size in bytes of a chart is 1. So you do 1 times 8. Do you understand? The one of int sometimes vary. It can be 2 or 4. Do you understand? If it's 4 times 8 is 32. If it's 2 times 8 is 16. Do you understand? Good. So that's how it is for other ones. That's how you calculate it. N times 8. Do you understand? Okay, so that being said, I'm going to show you a code on how you're going to like run or the size. Okay, let me show you guys something. So I wrote this code now. So if I'm going to run this code, it's going to give me this size of short of 2. The size of short is 2 bytes. If you notice, it's writing it in bytes, not in bits, right? Okay, let me calculate the one for int, char, and floats. Sorry, I don't know why this is always giving me. Okay, done. We need to do is change the int, change to char, and change to floats. Don't forget to always return. Always return. So once we are done, once you're going to run this code now. So you notice is what size of int is equals to 4 bytes, size of char is equals to 1 byte, and size of float long is equals to no. That's what we're having a long float is equals to. I know you might be wondering why we did not use the specifiers for char and float. That's because we're looking for, you want to get a number. And remember what I said about if you want to work with numbers, you use the specifier d, right? Okay, if you want to work with decimal, use either float if you're talking about 1 decimal, or 2, or double. I mean, if you're talking about 2. Then we go to output. You notice what I said about bytes and bits. We have the size of int is equals to 4 bytes. Now to calculate this, you have to do 4 times 8, which is equal to 32, right? So 32 is the bytes. We're not going to use these bytes to calculate the minial range using the formula I stated, 2 raised to the power n minus 1. So if you do 2 raised to the power 31, you get the value of.
Okay, so to understand why the size in bytes is 8. Okay, let me calculate it for you guys. On enums we have bytes and bits. Okay, on the formula for bytes for bits is n times 8. Okay, on enums the value the size in bytes of a char is 1. So you do 1 times 8. Do you understand? The one of int sometimes vary. It can be 2 or 4. Do you understand? If it's 4 times 8 is 32. If it's 2 times 8 is 16. Do you understand? Good. So that's how it is for other ones. That's how you calculate it. N times 8. Do you understand? Okay, so that being said, I'm going to show you a code on how you're going to like run or the size. Okay, let me show you guys something.
Minial range, of int. Same with char, same with floats. Same with floats. If you listen to this tutorial from the beginning to the end, kudos to you, because I'll actually say congratulations because you've earned a very good and perfect knowledge today. Do you understand? Thank you once again for listening, for paying attention to this tutorial today. And if you have any question or any suggestion you want to say, or maybe I made a mistake somewhere you want to correct me or something like that, or you still have a question to ask concerning today's class or the previous class I did on Introduction to C, kindly drop it on the comment section below, and to have a lovely day. Bye.